Buenos dias, everyone. Oli here again. Gonna cover a subject about the Apostle Shaul, or Paul, as the King James renders it. This might be a subject some of y'all may not have come across. I am doing it for the sole purpose of making a point, as I have with the other videos. But there seems to be a lot of confusion as to what a Jew is and what a Jew isn't. Okay, to be a Jew, an actual Jew, a physical descendant of Jew, you have to be of the tribe of Judah, right? Jew, Jewish, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, you're supposedly of the tribe of Judah. Okay, or as it is in the Hebrew tongue, it's Yada. Okay, that is what it means to be a Jewish on the first part. Okay. The thing is, most Christians, most people rather, or a lot of people, have made statements that we all have heard time in and time out, and that when the law was given, when you talk about the law to people nowadays, the law of Moses, that is, most people would just repeat what they have heard others say and say, well, those laws are only for the Jews. Well, yes and no. That has a double meaning. Okay, we must remember, people, there were 12 tribes to begin with. Okay, there's 12 tribes mentioned in the book of Genesis. And I'm going to point them out to you. And I'm going to give you a heads up as to what's in the book of Revelation on the 12 tribes as well. So we go to Genesis, and we read in chapters 29 to begin with. And it talks about Reuben, Reuben. Okay, that is in verse 32. Reuben. And then in verse 33, I'm going to show y'all something here that y'all might have missed while I talk about the Jews and the Apostle Paul. It's got a lot to do with what he said and what's called the New Testament, or in the book of Acts, I think. Okay, but yeah, by all means, try to get those words out of y'all's heads. New Testament. Verse 33, we see Simon, or Simeon, and it means herd. Okay. And then in verse 34, we have Levi. And Levi stands for attached. And then in 35, we have Yada, or Judah. And it says, I will praise Yahweh. Okay, all right. This is exactly what I was looking for. It says in verse 35, and she conceived again and bore a son, and said, this time I will praise Yahweh. Therefore she called his name Yada. Then she stopped bearing. Okay, notice, as I'm sure like in a lot of other Bibles, like the King James and NIV, we always have numbers and letters like this, and then we have our side notes. Okay, But this one here, when we read the footnote down here in the book of Yahweh, it says verse 29:35, Yada means I will praise Yahweh. The name Yada is a contraction of the name Yahweh, which is the Y-A-H. And I have shown y'all this in the other names of the prophets like Yeketskia and Yeremiah. Yahshua as well has the name of Yahweh in it. Okay, and the phrase I will praise. The Anchor Bible, Volume 1, page 228, Doubleday, Garden City, New York, and the New International Version, Hebrew, English, Old Testament by John Kohlenberger, 3, Volume 1, page 77, Zondervan Publishing, Grand Rapids, Michigan. From this name is mistakenly derived the modern name Jew, a designator originally of all people who worship Yahweh. In Clark's commentary, you can read it there. That's why I'm holding the phone close so y'all can still look at the sources where this information is coming from. Like the name Yahweh and our other names with the name of Yahweh compounded in it. After the Babylonian captivity and prior to the time of our Messiah, the temple elite came to believe the name Yahweh was too holy to pronounce. His name became ineffable. Due to this erroneous belief, vowel points were added to these names as a signal to the reader to avoid pronunciation of the name Yahweh in any way. Later scholars, unaware of these pointing codes, translated these names with the vowel points added, and as a result, the erroneous name Yehuda, which is Masoretic, Jehuda, King James Version, and Judah, King James, and all later versions were created. The Century Bible by Edney and Bennett, Volume 1, page 91, T.E. and E.C. Jack, Edinburgh, Scotland, and Peake's Commentary on the Bible, Thomas Nelson, London, England. Some have admitted Yahweh's name is the name given to Jacob's fourth son, but that it should be pronounced Yehuda, the long U sounding coming from the letter Waw within Yahweh's name. However, in Hebrew's original unadulterated form, it contains no vowels. A Practical Grammar for Classical Hebrew by Wingreen, page 6, Clarendon Press, Oxford, England. So the letter Waw in Classical Hebrew functions as a silent conjunction connecting the Yah in Yahweh's name and the Da in Ada, I will praise. The Hebraic tongue restored by Faber de Olivet, pages 112 through 13, G.P. Putnam Sons, New York, New York. Due to the fact that Yahweh is to be praised, the proper name Yada will be used throughout this translation to give honor and glory to Yahweh, for he expects his people to honor and glorify him. Okay, so that is what it should be, and not what it shouldn't be Yehuda, nor should the name of Yahweh be Yahweh and Yahuwah and Jehovah and all kinds of ill-advised words and names put together by these Masoretic people and the Jews. And the Jews say that Yahweh's name is too holy to pronounce. So if you have ever made that kind of statement, you must be that kind of a Jew. Okay, these things are clearly written in these kind of sources. So now you know where you're getting your statements from and or your teachings. Okay, but that is what the name Jew or Judah stands for. I will praise Yahweh. And the important thing is, what I also want you to realize is that we have the prefix of Yahweh's name in Yada. Okay, there's a scripture, I can't remember where it's at, but it says that your town is called with your name. If we have this name here, Judah, in the English, and the name of the Father, if the name of the Father was God, the name of God is not in his town per se. But if we have Yada, we have Yahweh's name in his town. Okay, Yahweh's people are the Jews, or the in the plural form, it's spelled like this. The Yadim. That is plural, or Jews in the English. Okay. The I am and the IN, as in no, are usually the plural form to just about any word. Okay. All right. So there are Jews, and again, there are non-Jews in this world, rather. I mean, that pretty much just boils it down to culture-wise and people-wise. Okay. The Apostle Paul told the Romans here in Romans 1:16, "For I am not ashamed of the message, for it is the strength of Yahweh unto life everlasting, for everyone who believes, to the Yahweh first, and also to the Greek." Of course, the word Greek can also signify a Gentile, if you see the footnote right there. Okay. It says D. We have the letter D by the word Greek, and it says means a Gentile. A Gentile is one who is without Yahweh and who is without his word, the law and the prophets. But this is why Yahweh had called out the Apostle Shaul so that he can go preach unto the Gentiles. Because like he told the Ephesians, at one time you were without Yahweh and you were without Yeshua. Okay. All right. What I want to point out to you, the viewer, the listener, is the fact that anybody can be a Jew. Okay. Once this whole town per se is reunited, then Yahweh would have reestablished his town, his people again. Okay. And again, the name of Yahweh has been restored through the Holy Scriptures, through the house of Yahweh, and so that we may see what we have been lacking in certain keywords and phrases, like I've stated in my past videos, for the sole purpose of finding Yahweh's name in his town and finding out exactly what it is to worship Yahweh and not God, because you cannot see the name of God in his people. Okay. All right. So we have, it's very easy to and clear to see that we have Jews, physical Jews, and then we also have spiritual Jews, those who will praise Yahweh. Okay. Now the Apostle Shaul himself, let's read down a couple of the scriptures just to make a few points. That he was called out by Yahweh to worship Yahweh, to worship his name, to teach in his name or in his authority, to teach the laws and the prophets to the Gentiles. Okay, we have here in 1 Corinthians, and you can read it out of your King James or your NIV, whatever you might have there in front of you. It says, "But Shaul, called as an apostle of Yeshua Messiah, through the will of Yahweh, and Sosthenes, our brother." Okay, let me see what else we have here. The Apostle Shaul. Okay, in Acts 20:24. Okay, got some of my notes there. I was doing this last night, as a matter of fact, because Shaul has been misconfused as to what exactly he was doing at one point and was now doing when he was called out. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Notice here in Acts 20, verse 24, he says, "But none of these things move me, nor do I esteem my life precious to my soul, so that I might finish my course with joy and the ministry which I have received from Yeshua Messiah, to proclaim the message of the unmerited pardon of Yahweh," or the grace. Okay, the Apostle Shaul was called into the ministry to proclaim the message, like it says here, of the unmerited pardon of Yahweh through Yeshua. Okay, you must remember that when he was called out, I want to point something out so that if you all still haven't come across to using the true and correct name of our Messiah, okay, this might start making y'all see truth, because it says it here in the scriptures. I know most people have thought and have been taught that the what they call the New Testament was all written in Greek, but that's not true. These people were all of Jewish descent and or spoke and taught in Hebrew. Okay, so Matthew up to Revelation was actually written all in Hebrew. You can Google it, look it up, and you'll see what I'm trying to get at. Okay. Now, here in the book of Acts, when somebody showed me this one, I was like, wow, I actually missed it. But I want to point it out to you all now before I continue on the Apostle Shaul. The book of Acts 26:14, this is when the Apostle Shaul was getting called out. It says, and when we had all fallen to the ground, I heard a voice speaking to me and saying in the Hebrew language, Shaul, Shaul, why do you persecute me? Fierce are you with the unruled prodding rod. And I said, who are you, ruler? And he said, I am Yeshua, whom you persecute. So Yeshua is speaking to these men, or the Apostle Shaul, in the Hebrew language, not in Greek. He didn't answer, my name is Jesus. That he said, my name is Yeshua, or I am Yeshua, whom you persecute. Okay. I mean, you just can't get past scriptural truths like this, people. He was speaking in the Hebrew language. So when he gave his name in Hebrew, he gave his name as Yeshua. Not Jesus, not Jesus, not Chuyito. Okay? All right. I just wanted to point that out to you. He told this to, let's see, in Acts 22, we have another one here, 26 and 27. In Acts 22, he says, when the centurion heard that, he went and reported to the commanding officer, saying, be careful what you do, for this man is a Roman. Then the commanding officer came and said to him, tell me, are you a Roman? He said, yes. This is Paul saying this. He is a Roman. Okay. He is telling you here that he is a Roman. They ask him, he says, yes. He says, and the commanding officer answered, with a great sum I obtained this citizenship. And Shaul said, but I was a citizen by birth. Okay, just like me, I was born in Cleveland, Texas, which is just north of Houston. But I live over here in the southwest area in Carrizo Springs. So I am a citizen, rather, by birth, out of Cleveland, Texas. But I live down here now in Carrizo Springs, Texas. About, I don't know, 3-4 hours away, I guess. Maybe 5-6 hours. But anyways, so I guess in essence, if I were to move to, let's say, California, I will become a Californite, but still by birth, a citizen by birth out of Cleveland, Texas. Okay, so I become a Californian. If I move to Israel, I become an Israelite, but I am still a citizen by birth out of Cleveland, Texas. Okay, I mean, that is the simplicity, people, of these things, is that if you are from Texas and you move to Iowa, you become an Ionian, or however they pronounce, the citizenship over there. If you are from Iowa and you move to Florida, then you become a Floridian, but you are still a native citizen by birth as to where you were born. Okay, now I'll come across here to Acts. Let's see, maybe pick out a few more here. Okay, Here in Acts 21, that's 22, so this is 21. Notice what the Apostle Shaul says here. But Shaul said, I am a Yadai, or a Jew, a man from Tarsus of Cilicia, a citizen of no undistinguished city. I beg you, permit me to speak to the people. Okay, let's read it out of your King James in Acts 21:39. Acts 21:39. Okay, again, I'll show y'all my King James. That's 22, so up here is 21. Notice verse 39. But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city, and I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people. Okay, he just told us he was a Jew. Okay, also if we read in 22 verse 3, and since I already have the King James open here, notice what he says again. I am verily a man which am a Jew, born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, yet brought up in the city at the feet of Gamaliel, or however you want to pronounce it, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers, and was zealous toward God as ye are this day. Okay, so wow. Okay, he was, I would think he would be in Rome. Okay, but he still said that he was born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, yet brought up at the feet of Gamaliel. Okay, so even though he said he was a Roman citizen by birth out of Rome, he still proclaims to be a Jew. Why? Because ever since his calling out in his ministry by Yeshua, by Yahweh through Yeshua, he had been called out to be a minister for Yahweh, teaching the law and the prophets to the Gentiles. And he taught the Gentiles to abstain from idolatry and eating unclean products, such as catfish, pork, whatever is all unclean. And for us to stay away from idolatry, which is the keeping of images and idols and crucifixes and rosaries and all kinds of man-made objects. But anybody can become a Jew. And the reason I wanted to bring this up, because last night I was thinking about it while I was in the federal system. I had been talking to the Christians there about what we were studying, and they were really surprised. And they would come to us with a lot of questions because I guess they were not hearing it, or they were not receiving those answers in their Sunday services. So I, as well, being a humble, nice guy, I said, yeah, sure, let's sit down and talk about it. And so one day this guy comes over and he says, hey, De Leon. He says, we were talking about you guys at our services the other day, though we were not talking anything bad. He said, but sorry, got cut off again. He said, yeah, he says, we were talking about you guys at Sunday services, though we were not saying anything bad or wrong about you guys. Just the fact that the chaplain had brought up she made a statement saying that nobody can be a Jew or become a Jew. And I said, yes, you can. Of course, I don't think I brought up these scriptures to him. I said, but I think I did tell him to read about the Apostle Paul. Okay. We were having our studies, doing our practices, whatever we could. I was doing my fasting on the Sabbath, studying. Like I said, we had our study group. And this is what it is to become a Jew, to be like a Jew in the eyes of our Father, Yahweh in heaven. Okay. Again, we saw proof that you can be a Jew because the Apostle Paul was such a man who stated these things. He was saying that he was born in Tarsus of Cilicia, a Roman citizen by birth, brought up by Gamaliel, taught the perfect manner of the law. He was called up by Yahweh through Yeshua to teach the message of this undeserved pardon or grace. And he stated he was a Jew. Okay. Again, I only point these things out so that one can understand that, yes, you can become a Jew. Even if you move over to Judah, you can become a Jew. That's one way to do it. The other way is to, wherever you're from, if you're in the U.S. or if you're in Australia or if you're in Africa or Mexico, uno sí puede ser judío. One can become a Jew. Okay? And the way you do this is that we start to praise Yahweh. Okay? That is the way you become what's actually called more like a spiritual Jew or a Yadai. Okay? Let me point this out. Yadaim is Jews, which is plural. And one Jew per se, or one Yadai, is singular. Almost sounds like Jedi, huh? But then again, Star Wars is very biblical rather. Okay. Now, before I finish this off, once you take all these names down, okay, write down the tribes or the sons, and then write down their significance. Because over here in Revelation, you get a hidden message, a hidden meaning. Okay, if you read here, let's see where it is. Oh, my bad. These are in right here in Revelation 7. Once you put these are now in a different order. Okay, you have first here out of the children of Israel, there are 144,000. Okay, you have Yada first. I will praise Yahweh to see a son, and then which is what Reuben means, and then you make up a whole phrase out of using the names of the children of Israel, the tribal names. You get a hidden meaning in it. Okay. When I first saw that, I was like, wow, that was really, really amazing. I think I saw that through, I don't know if it was Dr. Stephen Jones out of Minnesota or some other ministry. Like I said, I was, when I was incarcerated, inmates get all kinds of free booklets and books through these ministries. And like I stated in past videos, I read them for the purposes of learning, and I found that and I saw that. I was like, that is truly amazing. I bet y'all haven't seen that one, huh? But anyways, in Yahweh's great name, I pray to Yahweh through Yeshua so that we can all see these scriptural truths hidden in these names and keywords and phrases, here a little and there a little, rightly dividing the word of truth so that we may come to the realization that Yahweh is the Almighty. He is our Redeemer. He is our Supreme Savior, and only He can interpret these things. Okay, I hope this helps again. Don't forget to press the like and the subscribe button for more hidden scriptural truths. Okay, to the next video. You all have a great day. Shalom.